The invisible man married the invisible woman. Their kids are nothing to look at either. Got stuff for you here today. The Super Bowl was just the other day. It's taken me a couple of days to kind of get processed, because I watched it. I had to get up and walk around and walk out of the room many times because I was getting so, irritated, right? I mean, it's kind of become like the Academy Awards. All they're talking about is prejudice and a racial thing. I mean, 80% of the players, I think, are black, and they had this commercial stuff going on about how we treat them badly, and I was feeling pretty guilty about my color, right? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a game. It's entertainment. You're not supposed to do that. Then you roll into Bruce Springsteen. I mean, he's calling for unity, and he's driving in his Jeep in a commercial. And you know what? I guess it was kind of an okay commercial until you think about it, right? I mean, this is a guy that was trying to get Trump impeached before he even became inaugurated, and he is so left-wing. He's a raging liberal, and now he's got center stage, not just in the entertainment world, but the political world. Why would the football people allow this to happen? Come on, you guys, it's entertainment, but here you got Bruce Springsteen driving along in his Jeep, and he's talking about the middle has been a hard place to get to. Well, he wouldn't know, because he ain't in the middle, that boy. He's a way left. And between red and blue, between our freedom and our fear, well, you know what? I think that's simple enough. We're scared we're losing our freedom, and his fear is that we may not lose it. I mean, the very soil we stand on is common ground. So he says, well, you know what? He's an M&M. That's a misguided man. Because common ground to him is what? I mean, Trump could have come up with a cure for cancer, and Springsteen would have wrote a bad song about him. And so that's the left. The left says, now let's all be common ground and equal. Let's all get together and hug. There's such differences in thought. I don't think that's possible. Guys like him now have the stage again because they're in charge. The liberals now are in charge. The inmates are in charge of the asylum, right? And this is a football game, and all this racial stuff and everything else. I remember the little song from years ago, it was a lullaby. I mean, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. Better not be singing that to anybody these days. Hey, hey, California, they have 10,000 public schools. There's 6 million kids in them, and I think they're all being trained to be Democrats because they haven't been to school for almost a year. The anniversary is virtually now, right? I mean, you got a bunch of dumbheads walking around with no education. They don't know what to do, and the suicide rates among children, it's unbelievable. It's craziness, and you know what? The government says that's okay. Is it just the government? I used to think it was because the governor's in that job in California, but I'm kind of finding it's not just them. It's the union bosses. Union bosses in California are saying teachers can't go back to work until there's a virus and vaccine, and everybody's had it. Duh. We don't know when that'll be. That could be 5 or 6 years from now. I mean, what kind of a thing is that? The teachers need to stand up to the union and say, not so fast, we've had enough now. It's proven. There's science. There is. It says kids don't get it. Hardly any of them, and if they do, the recovery rate with young people is almost 100%. You got to get over it, right? You got a whole bunch of these crazy guys. Maybe it's part of the plan. You want Democrat kids walking around and acting like the adult ones. Swinging over to Canada, the Ontario government now says that whoever plays hockey, they can go to restaurants and they can fine dine and do what they want to do, but you, the public, you can't. Got you. But the NHL personnel, they're part of this, of course. They can dine indoors, but not the public. I can say it again and again, and let's think about that. Is that proper? Not everybody watches hockey, and even if you watch hockey, is it right that the premier of a province comes along and says, another special interest group, minority group, and wow, that's just not proper. That's liberalism, stupidism, badism. Canadian Airlines, they have returned some money recently, a little bit of money to all their people, but not much. I haven't got my check in the mail yet because they owe me several $1,000s because I had trips booked and cancellations and child employees and so on. But they're saying we don't want to do that until we get money from the government. We haven't gotten any. But hold it, you actually did. You've received $500 million. This is Air Canada, U.S. Airlines, Alaska, and others are the same. They're saying you can't have your money back. I get it. But I'm talking about the ones in Canada. Air Canada says we've gotten $500 million in wage subsidies, but then we laid off the majority of our employees anyway after we got the wage subsidies. Duh. Air Canada is rated among the worst airlines in customer satisfaction forever, or they have been for many, many years. They have a motto, we're happy when you're not. And then you have anti-gun politicians. They are liberal people. They're surrounded by large squads of heavily armed bodyguards, politicians, and famous people. Then you have anti-fossil fuel politicians that fly to international locations and tell people that, hey, let's get things so expensive that the normal people can't do it, just us. That seems to work. Politicians, they shut the economy down and they hurt people. People are in trouble financially, but yet politicians have never missed a check. What does that tell you about stuff? You know what? They own the press. Like, look at us. We are censored. The other day I had a show on, and Rick called me and he says, you got 0 views and hundreds of likes and many comments, but 0 views on YouTube. This is regular stuff, right? And millions of people are cut off of our shows all the time. Soon it'll be permanently because I'm talking sense. Don't you dare talk sense. You know what? I can't understand the left. That's a good thing. If you can't understand the left, that's a good thing for you too, because if you ever do understand them, you need a vaccine. We're going to come up with one to cure liberalism, stupidism. Y'all come back. See ya.